Now before we talk about everyone's favorite dog boy, this video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Nowadays, it's not uncommon for people to have a VPN when most of your information is up online and under threat from hackers. Thankfully, not only is Surfshark fast and easy to use as you connect to the server that offers the best speed by default, but it's also simple to install and runs on multiple devices with just one subscription. If you find yourself traveling the world a lot, you can use Surfshark to not get locked out of your bank account and be safe on public Wi-Fi, with Surfshark encrypting your data, making it useless for people to steal it. But say you're not traveling right now, and why would you in the midst of this global pandemic? You can still use Surfshark to unlock the 15 largest Netflix libraries in the world, including the US and, more appropriately, Japan. You can also access other limited streaming services wherever you are by using VPN services in the countries they're available. Surfshark comes with 24/7 customer support ensuring that your issues will be solved in a prompt, timely manner, with a 30-day money-back guarantee giving you plenty of time to try out Surfshark risk-free. And no logs means they don't keep your data. Get Surfshark VPN using the top link in the description and enter promo code Cipher for 83% off and an extra 3 months for free. Thank you all so much for being patient, and now, on with the rest of the video. We currently live in a society where it feels like old franchises are no longer allowed to die, and we're starting to see a new conversation pop up regarding legacy. Not only does this apply to new creative teams and their ability to properly do justice to the IPs that they're expanding upon, but now there's careful attention being placed on the Western companies who choose to distribute and dub these properties. With Viz Media acquiring the license for Yashahime, Princess Half-Demon, a spin-off/sequel series to the classic InuYasha franchise, the nostalgic original dub for the series has been back on everyone's minds.
Kagome! You look similar to Kikyu.
InuYasha, I am just a schoolgirl.
Curse Kaidi's magic. Without the Jewel of the Four Souls, I'll never become a full demon.
What the
Dad, shush!
Considering that most of the first episode features a flashback with the original characters, with at least some of those same characters expected to make other appearances later on in the series, the pressure was there to get back as much of the original dub cast as possible, despite the extenuating circumstances that might make it difficult. For one thing, InuYasha had always been dubbed in Canada, which unfortunately has slowly seen its anime dub industry decline throughout the years, outside of one or two exceptions. Many of them have moved on to other aspects of the entertainment industry after finishing up on the original dub all those years ago. In fact, the dub has already seen its share of recasts over the years, with Kagome's first voice actress, Monica Story, actually retiring back in 2009, already being replaced for the franchise's final season by Kira Tozer, while Sesshomaru was also played by a different actor for that same season. None of this is helped by the fact that COVID-19 is still very much a thing that has shifted the production landscape for anime dubs to remote home recording, which a lot of actors, unfortunately, aren't always able to adapt to. We did a whole video about this earlier this year if you're at all curious. But the bottom line is, even if there was a chance for everyone to come back, it would take time and a lot more behind the scenes work to make it happen, particularly for the audio engineers. So imagine our surprise when Viz announced that they would be simuldubbing Yashahime, and even greater surprise that arose from the following announcement regarding almost everyone from the old dub coming back to reprise their roles. According to this tweet by Ben Diskin, a prominent voice actor in the industry, the dub appears to be union, which makes sense considering that it was probably necessary to get some of the actors like David Kaye back. However, as for the studio that's responsible, that's a bit tricky. At the time of writing this, even though sites like Anime News Network are crediting Bang Zoom, no official studio has been confirmed by Viz Media or any other staff. However, Mami Okada, the main casting director at Bang Zoom, has been liking a lot of tweets regarding the dub, including one specifically thanking her and her studio, so take that as you will. As for the dub itself, not gonna lie, there were some moments where some of the actors sounded a bit rusty, either due to the dub's complicated production, or just by virtue of the fact that it has been years since many of them have done ADR again. This stood out the most with characters like Moroku and Lady Kaede, with their occasional awkward line reads.
Why did she seal it away, when instead she could have purged it with a sacred arrow?
But hopefully it'll get better as we continue to see them throughout the series.
Oh, yeah! That's what you get.
Richard Ian Cox's voice doesn't sound as rough as he used to as InuYasha, but he still carries plenty of that classic attitude that we all know and love, without being too hot-headed. This is, after all, an InuYasha that has matured from the previous season, even if timeline-wise the flashback is only a few months after the end of the original series.
The hell were you thinking?
Is something bothering you?
I know some people might still prefer Monica Story to Kira Tozer as Kagome, which is totally fair. But personally, I thought they sounded close enough that it didn't stand out as an obvious sticking point back during the final season. And personally, I thought Kira did a good job as the more mature version of the character, which carries over here well.
Does that mean you're upset after all?
No, I'm not upset. However, sit, boy. You could have a little more faith in me, too.
Jillian Michaels once again sounds adorable as Shippo, Kelly Sheridan continues to sound patient and motherly as Sango, and David Kay's voice as Sesshomaru just continues to do things to me that I can't describe on YouTube. So while not perfect, it's cool that Canadian voice actors were still able to reprise their roles. And what I'd like to see next is this remote recording workflow allow actors like these to start getting new roles in new anime. We've recently seen remote recording bring actors from multiple states together in dubs like Arte, and sometimes multiple countries in the case of Ishida and Asakura. As for the next generation, we have well-known LA talent taking up the mantles. We have Alan Lee taking over as Kohaku, sounding a bit more mature compared to Aiden Drummond in the original Japanese actor, which will obviously track well with the older version of the character. Kira Buckland sounds detached and emotionally hardened as Setsuna, while Erica Mendez sounds more proper and welcoming as Toa, without compromising the character's deeper tone. Then there's Morgan Berry, who sounds spunky and full of untamed energy. Through the performance alone, there is not a doubt in my mind that this is InuYasha's daughter, and you immediately get an understanding of what everyone's character dynamics might look like after just a handful of exchanges. Some textures and tones are a bit different from the Japanese version, but I respect the fact that the dub seems to follow the legacy of the English version that fans would be more attached to. I can definitely close my eyes and tell which families these kids belong to based just off of their voice and mannerisms of speaking, which really should have been the point. Very much looking forward to seeing how these actors continue to maintain that balancing act of making these characters their own while still paying tribute to what came before. The adaptation itself has been pretty straightforward so far, with a bit of punching up that matches the flavor of the original series. Though I'll admit that Moroha saying shit definitely surprised me. The Japanese word used here was yabe, which has been translated as many different words in the past, so it's technically not inaccurate, and maybe since Moroha knows a bit about modern culture anyway, it's not too weird for her to know that word.
Some may say it's a good change, others may say it's a bad change.
At the time of this video, you can watch the dub for this show on Funimation, Hulu, and Crunchyroll, the latter of which have yet to reveal that they actually have the dub on their streaming platform. I would call this very weird and surprising, considering the fact that probably a good portion of their American viewer base would be over the moon to find out that they can experience most of the original InuYasha cast once again. But unfortunately, this is pretty consistent with the way that Crunchyroll has been treating their exclusive dub content for the past couple of years. Yes, you could argue that Hulu hasn't really made an announcement either, but they're not one of the biggest anime streaming platforms in the world. Clearly this is a topic for another time, but I'm just saying guys, please do better. And on that tangential note, thank you all so much for watching, and we're curious to hear your thoughts on the show in the comments down below. With special thanks once again to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video. If you enjoyed this kind of mini review, leave a like and let us know what other shows you'd like us to approach in a similar way. Also consider joining our Patreon alongside other amazing people including Marissa Lenti, Reagan Senpai, JR Pictures, Spartacus, Ahoba, Seth Phillips, Unknown Secret 1000, Queen Era 2, and Masosa Gabby. This has been the Cartoon Cipher, and until next time.